3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to episode 234 of Ruse Radio. We are back at 234. Wow, I didn't even notice that till just now. That's a good number.
Yeah.
We're back at it again with a very special guest. Please introduce yourself, sir.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? I go by the name of Backpack Beatz, DJ, producer, MC. Just do a whole bunch of dope stuff. That's
Dope stuff. What kind of dope stuff do you do? Tell the people.
Dope music, man. A lot of people know me for making beats. I've produced a lot of dope records. Most recently, probably the biggest record I've had is I was on Supreme Clientele 2 with Ghostface Killah, Conway the Machine, Styles P, called Curtis May. On that album, super crazy. Before that, I did Ghostface Killah, Kanye West. I've done a whole bunch of stuff for that, a whole bunch of local Chicago stuff as well. Like I said, just make real dope music.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How did you end up getting like in a position to even make a beat for those guys? Did they just hear your music or something?
One just really like being outside. But two, the most importantly, shout out to my man EZ-Elpee. We met probably about, because it's 2026 now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we met probably about 2013. Yeah, I did a beat battle in Atlanta, and he was one of the judges. And I ended up losing in the first round, but he liked what he heard, and he was like, "Yo, come, send me some beats. I want to hear more of your stuff. Let's work." So I was at this hip hop festival, shout out to A3C, left the festival, went to the hotel, sent like 20 beats. And then, since then, we've been locked in, with EZ-Elpee, he's like a super famous producer as well. He's worked with Biggie, he's worked with Nas, he's worked with Mobb Deep, these caliber of artists. And, through him, he co-produced these records with me as well, and through him we were able to get these placements and made it happen that way. So
yeah,
shout out to EZ-Elpee.
Yeah. How does it work when like two producers are working together on a beat? I've never understood. Like I see it all the time, but like how does that work exactly? How do you collaborate with another producer?
Mm-hmm. It really depends on how you go about it for the most part. I could start off like maybe chopping a sample. We could be in the same room, or we could be like, doing it online or something like that. I could chop a sample and you could be like, oh, I could have like some cool drums for this or something like that. So you could lay some drums on it, or, I could have some drums and then maybe you could be like, oh, I have like some cool keyboard sounds, or, like some cool melodies or something like that to go on it. So it's really just like using some sort of like expertise, or like using like an idea that you have or something, and then just kind of putting it together,
just adding bits and pieces to it together.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then like I guess like how does it feel then? Because how long have you made beats for?
Since like 06, 07.
Oh, okay.
So like 7th
20
grade.
years pretty much.
Yeah. Sounds crazy. Yeah. I started in 7th grade. I started in 7th grade. So because like I started in 7th grade. I didn't get good until like 2011, but I didn't get like really good until like 2015, 2016. So, it's chapters that go into it.
Yeah. Well, like how does it feel then hearing like these legendary artists on your beats? Like what does that feel like,
Insane.
I have to imagine, right?
Insane. Yeah.
Because it's one of those things you would never really imagine when you get started.
Yeah, it's something that like it's something that you imagine. It could be something that you imagine, but it could be something that you wouldn't believe like 100%.
Right.
But then I think the more that you improve, and then like the more opportunities that you might have, or like certain rooms that you might like get into, the more believable that becomes.
Yeah.
So like it's almost like a seesaw. So like imagination on one side, belief on the other side, and then like it almost starts to weigh out into the middle, and then like the believable just starts to it starts to come out that way, so
Yeah.
That's how I like to look at it.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Yeah,
sure.
because it's just and it's like it's bits and pieces that get you there, and you can't really, it doesn't just happen overnight. That's not how it works. It's just a bunch of different places that you end up being in. That's a good way to put it, though. How you just put it, because it's like eventually it becomes realistic. Like eventually it's like, oh yeah, I could do that, but it's something you would never imagine back in 2006, or you would imagine it, but you wouldn't think that's realistic.
Exactly.
I suppose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Definitely.
What's the beat making process like then for you? How do you get started?
A couple different ways.
Okay.
I think the main way for me is like I'm a sample based producer. A lot of the times, I would say like 85% of the time.
Yeah.
So it starts for me at the record store. Starts for me at the record store. Just like digging through vinyl. Just trying to figure out some vinyl to buy. Taking that to the house, listening to it. If I hear something that I like, whenever I put the needle to the vinyl, I'll, if I hear something I like, I'll be like, oh, this sounds dope. Let's record it, chop it up, put drums on it. Rest is history after that.
Yeah.
So it's a real simple process. I think it sounds simple because like the formula is just pretty much in my head at this point. But it just starts out chopping a sample, drums on it, adding like the sauce to it.
I mean, the formula is simple, but it's so broad that you could do a million things with samples,
Exactly.
Like that's what's so crazy about flipping a sample. It's like it's really about what you can hear inside of the other song,
Exactly.
Some of like the craziest sample flips you would never even imagine, Like a good one I think of is what is it? It's the song Love, Kendrick Lamar, where it's like they flipped 24K Bruno Mars, but they like pitched it up and flipped it backwards. It's like something, how in the world do you even come up with the idea of doing that?
Yeah, no.
So do you have any samples like that where you don't even know where you got the idea,
I can think of some. Yeah, I can think of some. I know that Kendrick song in particular. It's Loyalty.
Kendrick
and Rihanna.
You're right.
And like I've seen like those behind the scenes, like or like the making of videos or whatever. Like the sample lab videos when they saw like when you see like the waveform and you saw how like they chop it up and stuff. Like when you see like videos like that, it's just like I say, just like how do you think of stuff like that?
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think that's the one thing that like I really, really like about like chopping samples because like shout out to Flip a Beat Club also. Just like side thing. With Flip a Beat Club, that's one of the events. Shout out to DiBiase, shout out to Mons Rock. We have like different chapters throughout the country where like every third Friday of the month we all have the same folder of samples. So it might be like three to five samples, and let's say like I think we have like maybe 11 different cities throughout the country. So 11 different cities throughout the country and maybe like 20 producers per city. So everybody has the same samples and everybody's beats sound totally different.
Right.
So like hearing how people like chop these samples is always like mind blowing whenever you like hear everything from people. So that's
because it's everybody's different perspective.
Yeah, exactly. So
and it speaks to that exact thing, right? There's the formula, which is simple, but it's the imagination that really makes it what it is. Because you could do a million things with one sound. And you wouldn't think that unless you have. I think a lot of it comes with experience, honestly. Because like once you've done it enough times, you know how to look at things that way. And I imagine like when you're getting started, you probably are doing like kind of just basic like loops and things like this, but eventually you start to figure out how to really chop it up. And I mean, like, are there what are like certain techniques, I guess, that you would use that are just different than, I guess, like, just looping them? Because I don't know, I've never really gotten into sampling. I've never really done it much.
Nah, I mean, like a lot of it sometimes, you could have just like a simple loop. Or I mean, it's kind of it's a simple question, but a not so simple answer.
Right.
If that makes sense, right?
Now, before our boy Backpack breaks that down, allow me to present you with a simple question with a simple answer. You enjoy this show and you want to support it? Well, the way to do that is Patreon, folks. I'm dropping an episode every 3 days, and we're bringing creative individuals to your face on the interweb. And how do I do it? How do I maintain such a schedule? Well, apart from my insanity, it's with your support. The only way the show can keep happening is with you. I tell you, if I'm being honest, I'm barely paying my rent right now. So it would be pretty awesome if you guys wanted to show some love and let me know that you love this show. It's how this show gets bigger and better. It's how this show grows. It's how I'm able to upgrade this and make it even more accommodable. I think that was the word, abominable snowman. It's how we make it better for our guests. It's how we make it better for you, our listeners. So seriously, I love you guys. I appreciate every ounce of support I get. I mean, even watching this is enough, but $5 a month, the price of a coffee, the price of a beer at the bar, and you make this thing happen. And you get to be a part of it. Your name pops up on the screen. You're at the end of every episode, and you also get exclusive Patreon content. You get to hear my music early. You're going to get exclusive conversations that you're only ever going to hear on Patreon. And also, you're going to hear some exclusive songs that are only ever going to release on Patreon. So there's perks, and the ultimate perk is just knowing that you're a part of Ruse Radio. You're a part of this. You are actually contributing to this show, and I'm being 100% for real when I say I need you. All right, now let's learn some more about chopping up some samples.
It's like there's so many different ways that you could go about it. And then, like, depending on your inspo, or depending on how you even like start making beats, like your beginning process might be different, if that makes sense. So like your first beat could be like, just making a simple loop, or your first beat could be like taking different parts of different songs, and putting them together. Like it's just like one big puzzle piece, so it's just like how you figure the puzzle out kind of depends on you as a producer for the most part. So because like it's all, I guess, like sampling is all, it's like a big math problem for the most part. It's like you could do something as simple as Johnny had 5 apples, or you could do something as complex as like a quadratic formula or something like that. Your first beat could be quadratic formula.
And what's interesting is neither is better than the other necessarily.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Like one could be perfect and the other one could be perfect, and it's just a matter of what works, really.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like there's no right way to do it.
Exactly.
Which is kind of just the thing with music in general, right? Like you could mull over it and try to make something like absolutely cerebral, but that's not necessarily the best thing. It could be the simplest choice that is the best choice. I feel like more often than not it is. Even. It's
exactly.
like it should feel kind of intuitive in that way. Yeah. How do you think your style has changed over time then?
Now my style has changed like drastically.
Well, you can't even avoid it, it just happens.
Because I think the reason why my style has changed is just because like my taste level has changed, right? Taste levels changed, experience, technique, like, so I think with those 3 things is why I like, because like I said, I started off making like when I first started making beats, I was making like Soulja Boy, like Crank That Soulja Boy, Superman, like sort of beats, but like
that was big back then.
It was, like I said, I started in middle school, so if it had Crank That, that's the type of beat I was making, right? So it was Crank That and a snap, that was it. But like,
shout out Soulja Boy.
Yeah, shout out Soulja Boy.
People don't know Soulja Boy paved the way. All right.
Nah, for real. Like, hey, Soulja Boy fathered a lot of these people's styles. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But like, while I was doing that, like, I'm still listening to to Kanye, to Jay-Z, like anything that came out like on Rockefeller. So like, that's like the biggest inspiration for me. Anything that came out on Rockefeller, like 2003, 2004, that's what I was listening to, right? Like College Dropout, Late Registration, those were like the inspo for me, like making beats.
And like, Kanye's always been sample based.
Exactly. So it's like I was listening, like I said, listening to Soulja Boy. I'm 12, 13, you know, unavoidable, right? But then like, you know, going and listening to these Kanye beats, you know, and this is like pre-YouTube, as far as just like people like uploading like, you know, like hella videos of like older music and stuff. Yeah. So having like to research the stuff yourself, you know, figuring out what the samples were. Yeah. You know, I wasn't necessarily reading liner notes or stuff on the CDs or whatnot, but just like figuring out what some of these older samples were. And
you ever hear the phone app Who Sampled? Yeah.
I'm on Who Sampled a lot. Shout out Spotify, I hate you. But yeah, but like, you know, doing stuff like that, you know, and going down the rabbit hole of like going down that research rabbit hole, changed my taste level, which ended up changing like, you know, the style of how I make stuff.
Just because like it broadened your horizons in that way.
Definitely broadened the horizons. And then like I finding different producers that like I like, you know, like I started off listening to Kanye. Yeah. And then, you know, if you're watching Adult Swim, you know, you get introduced to Dilla, Madlib, Doom, you know, their beats don't necessarily sound like Kanye, you know, and then just like going down the Stones throw rabbit hole, and then just finding new people to listen to, you know, and all, like I said, that goes with technique and like all of that stuff just like makes the brain work a little bit more, you know. So like it's like the horizon is definitely broadened with that, you know. So
yeah, and like would that just make it so your sample selection is kind of different, you think? Or is it like bigger than that?
Nah, I wouldn't say sample selection changed. Well, sample selection would change as far as going to a different section in the record store, right? So, like I would stay in like the soul and R&B section, right?
Yeah. But now you're going to like Waylon Jennings and stuff.
Yeah, you know, go over to like the prog rock section or something. You know, like do something like that. But I don't think it necessarily changed as far as like selection, but I think it would change in technique. Right. So like one thing that I do, I'm a hoarder when it comes like to files. So if I'm making a beat, I don't delete my project files at all, right? So I'll do this every couple of years. I'll not necessarily do a purge, but I'll just like listen to some older beats that like I may not think are good, and I'll go back and like re-chop that sample. Yeah, you know, because I'll be able to re-chop the sample, make a totally different beat out of it because I have like new technique. You know, I have you know, I've learned some stuff. You know, so like what originally started off as a bad beat in 2015 ends up being a great beat in 2024. Yeah, so I'm saying, so I think stuff like that is like what makes a lot of like my production style change, and I like it for it. So nothing ever goes to waste. Yeah. Well, and that's why it's great to keep that stuff around, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's funny because it's bad. Like you go back and listen to it and you're like, it's bad, but you're still able to pull something great out of it. Yeah. Exactly. Like I do that a lot. Like, I remember I did it back in December, you know, just going through beats just to see like what wasn't like bounced like an MP3 or whatever. So like if I see it's not an MP3, I'm like, it's not an MP3 for a reason. Right. You know, so like I'll never rendered it. Yeah. So I was just like, this wasn't good enough to listen to in the car, sort of thing. Right. So I'll go back and listen to it. I'm like, oh, this is why. You know, and I'm like, okay, let's go ahead and do something else. You know, let's chop the sample up a different way. Oh, this sounds fire. Boom. Let's go. So, yeah. Huh. That's interesting. I mean, like, that must be a gratifying feeling then, huh? Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah. You still got it, you know? Yeah. Not even like I still got it sort of thing. Yeah. It's just that, like, it's more of a, I was on the right track. Yeah. Like, I was on the right track. It just, like, wasn't the right time. Mm-hmm. Like, it wasn't the right time. Or, like, I had the right mind. I had the right mind going into it. It's just like the intentions.
I didn't have enough XP.
That's what it was.
I didn't
have
level
enough
up
XP.
yet.
Yeah. That's really what it was. I didn't have enough XP to finish the beat.
Yeah. And then later on, it's like a new you. You're able to go back to it with that new perspective and completely change it. You know?
Exactly.
And in a way, it would be. That's it. I like that, the idea of you had the right idea, because it's like you did see something there, but you just didn't have a way to express it, I guess. And then later on you're like, oh, this is what I was trying to say, sort of.
Like the sample was Millennia, you feel me? Like I had to sit at the side of Grace for a couple more times. I had to learn how to dodge just a little bit more, get a little bit more armor. Now we're good.
Has there ever been a beat that you've spent like an exorbitant, is that the word? A long amount of time on?
Yeah. I try not to, because I know that, like, I'll say realistically, for me to make a good beat, like realistically, like if I take out all of like the time of me just like listening to the beat and just like kind of chilling with it, I say like realistically it'll take me about 15 minutes to make a good beat.
That ain't shit, right?
Yeah. And like I know, like if I'm spending more than like 45 minutes on a beat, I'm just like, I'm forcing it. So like I know, or like if I'm just like trying to get it right and it just like doesn't happen, I'm just like, this isn't working, let's just go to the next one. So like goes back to the XP thing, it's like it's there but it's not. So like I know if it's like 45 minutes, I'm just like, let's just go to the next one, let's take a break, either take a break or like just listen to something else or like make something else. And then like that might inspire me to go back and finish it up.
Is it like writer's block? Is it the same kind of feeling?
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, because I'll know what I want to, it's like, what you want to do, but it's just like, it doesn't translate from your head to like your fingers, like pretty much something like that. Or, that kind of goes back to the first thing that we talked about as far as just like collaborating. I could send it to a homie. I could send it to a producer homie.
Right,
and be like,
and they'll have the exact thing that it needs.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It'd be like, yo, either you could do something to this, or like, I'm trying to do such and such.
And that could be as simple as like a bass line, like a synth, like literally anything. It's like, oh, like how did I not see that? I'm such an idiot.
Exactly.
It's like it's a simple thing, and you just couldn't see it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You'd be like, just do this. And that's
it's just like a keys, just 3 keys being pushed.
That's it.
You're
Seriously.
like, oh yeah, of course.
That's it. Yeah.
Do you have any like favorite producers you worked with?
Favorite producers I've worked with. Definitely EZ-Elpee. Shout out to you. I'm trying to think, because I really don't have like a crazy amount of like producers that like I've worked with. So like that list is actually very small. Now that I think about it. Shout out to my man EZ-Elpee. Shout out to my man Dozakis. Shout out to my bro Before Lasers. Let me see who else, man. Shout out to my man Billy the Kid. These are a lot of these guys are like local Chicago guys that are incredible. If you haven't interviewed them yet, like they're fire.
Okay. Honestly, I'm just now trying to get more into like the music world of things. So if you got suggestions, tell me.
Like my bro Before Lasers, he's like, if you like me, he's like the godfather of like all like the new like Chicago like producer scene. He's that guy.
The Godfather, huh?
Yeah. Shout out Duck World. Just like, it's a good amount of people though. But those are like my favorites that I can think of off the top of my head.
Okay.
But like,
How about artists then? Like, is there certain artists that you've heard rap on your stuff that you're like, damn, they took this beat to like another level?
That list is long.
Yeah.
That list is long. Like I did my 2025 wrap up or whatever, and like I had to, like on Instagram you can only fit 20.
Yeah.
And I had to figure out like what to fit in there, because it was kind of crazy. Because like I've been actively like having like people like on my stuff since like 2011. So I think like some of my favorites as of late, let me see, I'm trying to think. Shout out to my man Bub Rock. He's a fire artist out of New York. My bro UFO Feeve, another artist from New York. Let me see, and a lot of my hometown guys. Shout out to well, his name's Wahid. I think he's about to change his name again.
Again?
Yeah, again.
Pick a name, brother.
Yeah. Shout out to C Red. She's a really dope MC as well. Let me see, just like a whole bunch of people, and then like you have your Ghostface, your Kanye.
Yeah, but those are easy choices,
those
right?
Are easy, yeah. But yeah, just like there's a lot of just like really really dope people, and then like the Chicago scene itself, like, cause like 2026, like me and the Chicago scene, like we're like locked in, cause there's a lot of talent out here. So yeah, but like just like those are just the ones I can think of off the top of my head. Oh, shout out Freddie Old Soul. We had a really good dope, really fire record last year. Yeah, just like a lot of really fire MCs. Yeah, a lot of dope stuff.
When it comes to like people working with you, do you put your beats online, or is it more of like, they contact you and you make beats for people directly? How do you do it?
I don't know. Well, when I started, I was like putting a lot of beats out online.
Yeah. It says on your hat here, No More Free Beatz.
Yeah,
so
that's the brand.
For those that know, YouTube, free beats on YouTube, like that is that's a big thing, like for us rappers out there.
Nah, yeah.
It's like, I don't want to. There's so many rappers who will never buy a beat, and they will go on YouTube and they'll just look for the beats that say free.
Yeah.
So I assume that's what you're referring to.
Yeah, it's like you look at the video and it's got like 15,000 views on it, so like maybe 14,500 might have that beat. You never know.
Yeah.
I started putting my beats online, and like it was cool, it worked out, but one thing that was happening is like I like to build a relationship with the artist, if it's not transactional, at least. I like to try to build a relationship with the artist, because if I know the artist is good, if I know the artist is good, then like I know the track will pretty much like 9 times out of 10 be good as well.
Would you just mean like talented? Like you mean the artist is talented, it's gonna work? Yeah.
Yeah, because I've had like in my earlier career, like I've had like a lot of times when like the artist isn't good.
Yeah.
And
it kind of drags the beat down.
Yeah, just like it's a waste of a beat.
Yeah.
Because usually like if one person like raps on it or like does something on the beat, like I usually never like sell the beat again, unless it's like Jay-Z or something, right?
Right.
But now like it's more of like I'll reach out to an artist, because like I'm a fan first, like I'm a music junkie, like I DJ as well, so I'm always listening to music, so I'm a fan first, so like I'll reach out, but then like I'm getting a name now, so like some people will reach out to me as well, so it's a little bit of both, or a lot of things too, which I like to do with other producers and artists as well. I like to link artists and producers together. Nice. So a lot of that happens as well. So it's really just a lot of it really just boils down to like a lot of networking for the most part, so like I'll see I'll see like an artist on Instagram, or like I'll see an artist at a show, and be like, yo, like I'm Backpack Beatz, I make beats. I don't like run down the whole catalog or whatever, because like that's dumb to me. But like I'll just be like, yo, I really liked your set, let's I make beats, let's try to make something happen. Sometimes it'll be like, okay, cool, let's work, and like it never happens. Or it could be like, oh, okay, yeah, I've heard you, I heard your music before, and then that'll happen as well. Or it could be like, it could be like I could be like with another producer or another artist friend who like could be on the bill at a show or something like that, and be like, oh, this is my guy Backpack Beatz, I think y'all will work well together, sort of thing. So it's a a mixture of things.
Yeah,
so.
but it's just meeting people. It's developing the relationship first.
Yeah, like the relationship, like some sort of relationship has to be established.
Yeah.
Because like I said, like if I don't like to like go off of vibes for the most part, but I'm just like, I know like if you're a solid individual, like one, if you're talented, and two, if you're a solid individual, it'll be more than one song that we work on. Right. So, like a lot of times it could be like, it's a positive snowball, right? So, we could work on a song, like the song does very well, you know, we can end up doing another song that could end up turning into doing like a 5-track EP or something like that. Right. Or it could be another networking situation, so where it'd be like, you know, another artist in their circle would be like, yo, I like what y'all did together, let's make something happen. Or it could be like, I could see another artist in that they're working with or whatever, be like, yo, let's do this, you know. So like I said, it's a positive snowball.
And that's kind of the beauty of networking in my mind. That's how, if you do it right, that tends to be how it goes.
Exactly.
You know, it's one person to another person to another person. And if you have the right intentions, I feel like it all just naturally works out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like if you're looking for the right things.
Yeah. And the thing that I'm noticing, cause like I'm from Florida. I don't know if I mentioned that too. I'm from Florida.
Nah, that was right before we started.
I'm from Florida. I've been in Chicago since 2018, and I think I've been in the Chicago music scene since maybe like 21.
Oh, okay. So what? You just weren't really involved for a couple years then?
Nah, I really just didn't know what was going on. Like
and you kind of have to like put yourself into there.
Yeah. I was a fan. Well, once COVID too.
Right.
So that was the other thing. But like I once I was able to go outside, I went outside. You know, so, and I don't know, maybe it's because like I come from like the old school, but like I don't like networking online. You know, it's worked like for like places that I can't reach. So like shout out UFO Fee. Like I said, he's an artist that I've worked with. And like he's like super cool with Fat Joe. And like we met online. You know, I was just like told him, I saw a YouTube video he was in. I hit him on Twitter. When it was Twitter. And I was like, yo, I'm a fan of your stuff. You know, let's work. And we've been locked in ever since. But then like coming to Chicago, I'm noticing that like literally everybody is 6 degrees away from everybody. Like it's a 6 degree separation. You know, so like shout out to my man AM Early Morning. Like I went to a show. I didn't even go to the show for him. I went to a show for it was his show, but it was somebody else that was performing that I knew, or that like I listened to. And so shout out John Monte. He's from North Carolina. He's from Charlotte, and I DJ'd his music. You know, I would DJ his music in a lot of my sets. So I went to his show, or I went to the AM Early Morning show for him.
Right.
But then I and this is the power of networking, right?
Right.
So I went to John Monte because like me and John Monte was familiar with me, and he knew I made beats as well because I was DJing his music. And I told him, I was like, yo, I got some beats for you. You know, let's work or whatever. I remember we were in line like at a food truck getting food or something like that, and I had the beats on my phone. Like he was listening to the beats or whatever, and I didn't know who AM Early Morning was, but like AM Early Morning knows like literally everybody in the Chicago like hip hop scene.
Yeah.
And John Monte was like, yo, AM.
It's like that quote, you know, you never know who's listening.
Exactly. And John Monte was like, yo, AM, this is Backpack. Y'all should work. Literally ever since that moment, like through AM, I've worked with almost like all the super good like Chicago hip hop artists, you know, and we've worked together. We did a project. Was that last year or the year before? It was the year before last year. Yeah. Me, AM Early Morning, Jujilla, we did a project called Dudley Boys. And like through him, it's like literally like everybody I've been able to work with, you know. So like I said, that power of networking, I wouldn't be able to do that online.
Right.
You know, so,
exactly. Yeah. I feel like the connections are so much more real.
Exactly.
It's just so much more.
Yeah.
Like it feels tangible, and I think that I don't know how to explain it. It just feels more powerful, I guess. Like for me, that's kind of the beauty of something like this. Like I would never even want to do a podcast virtually. I don't think it's the same thing.
For sure.
I think when you meet people in real life, there's just a real connection that's made, and there's something different that happens rather than, you know, if you just message each other back and forth a couple times. It's so different, and especially if you're trying to do something creative together, like you're trying to make something. You can't really do that if through I think the medium of social media is you're translating something into that, whereas like in person, that's real. And then if we're gonna do it through this, now I'm taking that real thing and trying to put it in this box, and that's not quite the same thing.
Like the thing I always say, I'm like, it's harder to say no to me in person. You know,
ain't that the
it's
truth?
harder to say no to me in person. Like you can leave me on red online. You know, you can leave me on red, you can block me online, but like if you see me in person, you're getting one of these. You know, like you're definitely getting a handshake and be like, yo, I'm Backpack. Nice to meet you.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? You know, and if it don't work after that, cool. But like, you see my face. Like I said, if you say no to me in person, kudos. You know what I'm saying? But like it's like you can, and shout out to B4 Lasers again. Like you can't gauge somebody's vibe off of reading.
No, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, and like B4 Lasers is like 6'4", right?
Okay.
He's like 6'4", probably like 6'4", 260, probably, right? So he's like a big, tall guy, but he has like this energy and like this vibe to him that like I said, he's the godfather of the hip hop community or producer community in Chicago. And but like it's hard to say no to him in person. You feel me? But like,
well, he gives you an offer you can't refuse.
Exactly. That's the thing. You know, and it's you can read what he can ask you the same question online. It's not going to be the same as him asking you the same question in person. At all. You know, so
I've never heard it put that way, but that is an excellent way to put it, especially if you're somebody with like a strong personality. Because like I feel the same way. I feel like I'm very effective in person, but it doesn't work quite the same on social media. It just can't, you know? But in person, it's like, I feel like it's like an infectious thing that happens. Whereas like I can't infect you through the phone.
Exactly.
I just can't. I can't get you the way I could get you. You know? And people feel that. Like people, and once somebody, if you make that connection with somebody, I feel like that's what people really remember. They remember how you make them feel, and they can't forget it. You know,
like think about it like this: like if R.I.P. Billy Mays, if Billy Mays sent you
ShamWow,
exactly. If he gave you a email or like a press release on the ShamWow, it's very, very different than watching the infomercial.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's like if I read the press release.
Billy Mays here.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? It's like, so he's going to type Billy Mays here, ! Right? You read that in the press release. Probably after that first sentence, I'm not reading that again. You know, but if you see him, if you see his face in like on the infomercial and you see him with the ShamWow, you know what I'm saying? Like, totally different vibe. It's going to make you be like, oh, I might want to buy the ShamWow.
It makes me think of, you know, like how an actor will take a lines from a script and breathe life into them, you know, and you could see like 5 or 10 different actors read the same lines, but one of them is going to shine because they just have this intimacy with the material and they can make it work in a way that nobody else can.
Exactly.
And that's like the power of the soul, like the personality. You know, you can put your soul into it and breathe life into something in that way, and you cannot do that through just words. That's why there's that Key and Peele sketch, you know, like how the miscommunication through text.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
There's a barrier there.
Yeah, I'm saying like my personality is in Times New Roman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Your personality is in Times New Roman.
No.
You know, I might be Times New Roman 16. You might be Times New Roman 8. You know what I'm saying?
I might be Comic Sans.
You might be Comic Sans. You know, you might be Courier. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never know. You know, you might be like Bauhaus 96. You know, you you never know.
Yeah.
You know, so everybody's a different font.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like, you can't see, you got to see the font in person.
Yeah. And I think that like that's where the good stuff comes from. Like the real creative stuff is like blending those fonts and like finding something in the middle, you know? And that's like that's where you get like real creative stuff and you're not going to get that anywhere else. Like it's like me being me and you being you, and then like us meshing in that way, and somehow we get somewhere with that.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, it's like you were saying earlier, if you just post a beat online and then somebody else just takes the beat and raps over it, well, there's no real connection being made there. Yeah. And, you know, maybe every now and then you're going to get something good, but the majority of the time you're not. Just because there's no magic being made in a sense.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's like literally just you're just putting a sock on. Yeah. You know, it's like you're just putting a sock on, but like, you know, if you actually like build that relationship, you could put a pretty fly sneaker on, you know, and step out that way, you know, and then like, you know, sometimes, you know, just grabbing something could come off as being like real opportunist, you know, and then like I said, it could turn into something more, you know, so
yeah. And then with you said being outside is how you got to where these opportunities are. What kind of things have you done to like put yourself in those positions and be outside? Like what have you done to do that? Like what, or because like if somebody's listening and they make beats and they do all this, like what could you tell them? Like how do you get there? You know?
I remember how we were talking before we started recording. Like I said, Chicago has so many opportunities as far as like the music scene. So shout out to all the showcases. Shout out to Open Beats. Shout out to Open Swim. Shout out to the Chopping Block. Yeah, shout out to like all of like shout out to Lattes and Loops. Like everything that B4 Lasers has going on as well. Shoot. Yeah, Lattes and Loops, live and listening party. Flip a Beat Club.
So like community based stuff,
like
right?
Literally community based. You know, like everything that I'll just name, like these are all producer based, community meetups, open access, producer showcases. You know, like all of these places, these are all like free events. These are all free events, and you know, and you're doing like sets that are like 10 to 15 minutes. You know, you come to these events, you know, you get there early, you sign up, you know, and you might be number 1, you might be number 8, depending on where you sign up or whatever. And, you know, that's how people started noticing me. I was going to all of these different, you know, showcases or whatever, and people were hearing my beats. And I was also seeing these same people at all of these events as far as producers, you know, so on one hand, I'm playing my beats. It's a couple different things. So I'm outside going to all these different events. So like everybody's seeing me, but I'm going to all these events. I'm seeing everybody else as well, because they've been doing this. You know, like Open Beats, they just celebrated 10 years. You know, so they've been here like doing these every last Friday of the month for 10 years. You know, so so shout out Fest and Uncle L. You know, so I'm playing beats. I'm seeing how my beats sound in the public space, and in real time. I'm seeing how my beats stack up with other producers that are performing as well. I'm building that community with these producers that are here, because like I said, we're pretty much nomadic. We're going to all these different events. You know, like I'm seeing everybody every single week.
Nomadic, that's a good word.
Yeah, you know, like we're seriously like we're seeing everybody everywhere, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and then building those relationships, and then you never know who are in these crowds as well. You know, like MCs could be in these crowds. You know, promoters could be in these crowds,
and it's that 6 degrees of separation again.
6 degrees of separation, you know. You know, so that's one way I was being outside. Like I said, just being in people's faces.
Yeah.
You know, being in people's faces and
I think that's so much of it. I think that even goes beyond talent. Like that's more important than talent is just being out there.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you'll see people ask like, how did this guy get this opportunity and I didn't? I'm so much better. And you might even be right. You might be better. But it's the fact that he's getting himself in the right places. That's most of it right there. You know, is just being, I think like, you know, it's also, it's being involved, right? Because you can go to these events, but if you just dip in and out, well, now you're not really developing a relationship. Like if you just make an appearance and leave, that's not the same thing as like saying hi to people, saying, "Oh, yo, I liked your shit. Like that beat was dope." Like that goes such a long way. It's stuff like that.
It's the other thing too, though, is that like you don't want to be the tree in the forest, right?
What do you mean?
You know, like if a tree in the forest falls, nobody hears it, right? You know, that's the saying that everybody says. So like,
well, I always say if you drop a song on SoundCloud and no one hears the song, did you even drop a song?
That part, you know. So the reason I say that is like I'm outside, but I'm making my presence known. Yeah. Right. So I'm putting forth action to what I'm doing. Right. I'm not just going to these showcases, playing my stuff and leaving. Right. A lot of people do that. You know, I'm going, playing my stuff, building relationships, listening to other people's stuff, you know, I'm honestly doing it. You know, I'm honestly doing it, but like I'm, you know, doing it to build relationship, study, you know, that goes back into that technique building, you know, because I could hear something from somebody else and get inspired to, you know, do like another beat.
I think you just got to lead with curiosity.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, you know, so like
because it makes you better. Like it makes your stuff better.
Exactly.
If you look at other people's stuff and you're genuinely trying to figure out why it works and what's different about it than what you're doing, and like, you know, just being curious, just wondering and asking questions. Like it makes your the way that you look at things different, because you learn to you learn that other people aren't like you at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty much.
Exactly. Like I remember I was this was back in November. I was me and Before Lasers, we were talking on the phone for like 10 minutes. This was after the one of his live and listening parties shows at the Whistler. And shout out to Thelonious Martin. Super talented producer, like definitely like one of my inspirations as far as producing. And like he had one of the featured sets at the live and listening party, and his beats sounded so like fire, and there was a certain sound that like his beats had, and like me and Before, like we were not necessarily arguing, we were just like trying to figure out like how are his beats sounding like this, right? And then like we talked about it there, and then like we were on the phone the next day like trying to figure it out.
It's like you're trying to crack the code.
Yeah. And then like I saw Thelonious at another event maybe like a week or two later, and I was like, yo, me and Before, we were arguing like for 2 days on how like you on how you did like how your beats sound like this. Yeah. And he was like, oh, I just do this and this. So then like he told me what he did, and now I'm able to like throw that into like my repertoire, like my technique as far as like how I'm making beats or whatever. Yeah. Like not copying like what he's doing, but just like being
add it to your arsenal,
adding it to the arsenal. Yeah. You know, so stuff like that. And like you're not going to see that if you're not outside, because you're not hearing it in that public space.
Yeah, I saw Maynard James Keenan say once that just more input makes better output. Exactly. And that's as simple as it gets, you know?
Exactly.
Because it's why you should always just be consuming things. Because if you just get high off the smell of your own farts all the time, you're just gonna keep doing. You're gonna be a parody of yourself eventually. You know, and nobody wants that.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't want that, but nobody else wants it, especially.
Yeah. Nah, it's like you know, keep smelling your own farts. You end up not smelling them anymore.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
like
You think it's normal.
Yeah, you know, like that's really what it is right there.
Yeah,
you know, like you gotta get some different scents out here. You know,
yeah.
you know, you can't get different scents if you don't get out your room.
Light up some incense.
Yeah,
at that
you know,
point.
yeah, for real. You know, so it's really that simple.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, there's always something going on like in Chicago as far as like musically, and especially like locally. You know, like I said, I was doing the producer stuff, you know, so people knew me in that space. And one thing that I'm getting a lot of the other producers to do now is like I've always been saying that like the music scene is like a big Venn diagram or whatever. Like the producers are always in one circle and the MCs and like the artists are always in another circle. So like I'm one of like the few producers that are like going to like going to like the rap shows, they're going to like the open mics and stuff
Kind of like in
that.
the center of that Venn
Yeah,
diagram.
yeah, and like actually like connecting with these artists, you know, like bringing them, be like, yo, we doing this like every other week, you know, like come to the producer shows, and you know, like through that and through like connecting like, you know, producers or artists, be like, yo, I think y'all two should work together, you know, like projects have been done, you know, like producers that only thought that they would just make beats, like actually have like people on their stuff now, and like it sounds incredible. You know, shout out to my man Damo Do the Most and Omar Raps. Like Omar Raps was like the first MC that I met when I moved to Chicago. I met him at an open mic. Shout out to Heavy Crowns, and you know, and Hakim Doe. Shout out to you too. Like I met him at an open mic, and I was like, yo, this might have been pre-COVID actually. I met him at an open mic, and I was like, yo, let's work. We ended up putting out a project maybe like 2 years ago, and Damo Do the Most is like one of the producers I'm genuinely afraid of. You know, his beats are that good, and
I know Damo.
Yeah, he's fire. You know, and I told Omar, Damo, I was like, yo, y'all two should work. Boom. They just came out with a project like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Sounds incredible. It's way better than what me and Omar did. You know what I'm saying? So like stuff like that.
And your fear intensified.
You know, so it was just like stuff like that. And like I said, it goes back to what I just said, being outside.
Yeah.
You know, and then also like being a fan. Like I love this music. Like I love music.
Yeah, because I think too many people have a competitive mindset.
Yeah.
And in a sense, you should have a competitive mindset to make yourself better. Like you should want to be the best, and you should want to make things that are like as good as they can be. So it's not entirely misguided, but I think that people just get too much into that, and then that poverty mindset of like, there's only so many opportunities. There's only so much. I can't just let other people get all these opportunities. I have to get them all. And I think that thinking like that, you end up just shooting yourself in the foot, because
for sure.
you're not, by giving to the community gives back.
Yeah.
And it all feeds back into you. That stuff you put out comes right back to you.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think that the competitive mindset, it's like, it's good. The core of it is good. The idea that you should be competing and trying to be the best is right, but you shouldn't be then pushing everybody away and not working with anybody. And I think a lot of people get that idea. They just take that core idea and then take it way too far.
Yeah. Nah, like I think of music like basketball. Like
like a team sport, right?
Yeah. Not it's like that, but like it's I'll say it's as much as I love music, I love basketball, right? I've been hooping for a while. And
Pre-2006, huh?
Pre-2006, right? And this is, so I'll break it down like this, right? I'm always working on something. Like I'm always training to be the best basketball player I can be, right? So
you guys are looking at Michael Jordan right here.
Not at all. Far from. I'm always working on my handles.
Yeah.
I'm always working on my jump shot. I'm always shooting free throws, right? Not anymore, but like I was like doing conditioning and stuff like that. It was like training to like, you know, make the team or something like that, right? So shooting jump shots, working on handles, everything I just said, right? Equate that to making beats or like doing music. Figuring out how to chop samples, figuring out how to like do proper drums, you know, studying like on some music or like trying to figure out different ways to do stuff, new technique, right? Changing taste levels, you know, so that goes into the training aspect, right? And then take it a step further, you know, let's say I'm going to my local park, right? I want to be the best player that I can be, so I can be one of the best. I want to be a player that can constantly get picked up at my local run, right? So like if I go to my local park to go play ball, I don't want to have to wait, right? You know, I want the people on the court to be like, yo, that's Backpack, yo, you got next. I got you, you can be on my team, right? I want to be that good to where like I'm good in my local park.
Yeah.
You know, but then also I want to take it a step further to where I can go to any park and I'm recognized at any park, you know, so it always goes to those levels, right? So equating it back to music, I want to be the best producer that I can be to where like I know I'm nice at whatever showcase I go to. You know, I can go to a showcase and be like, yo, it's Backpack Beatz.
Right.
He's nice, right? So I can go to any showcase that I go to, whether it's Open Beats, Open Swim, Live and Listen Party, whatever. They know when I get on the stage, they know they know I can be like Shea Gilchrist-Alexander or like Michael Jordan or something like that, right? They know I'm an all-star, right? So taking it a step further than that, you can have more than one all-star on a team. We can have an all-star team. You see what I'm saying? So if it's me, if it's somebody like Damo Do the Most, if it's somebody like Before Lasers, game recognized game. If I see you on the court, if I'm at my local park and I see you on the court, yeah, it's going to be competitive, right? We want a good game, right?
Right.
You know, so, and then it's like, after the game, good game.
Right.
You know?
Like sportsmanship.
Exactly. Sportsmanship, you know, but one of these days we can go to a different park. You can be on my team.
Yeah.
Let's run the park. Let's stay on the court and win for 3 hours straight.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So let's get all the all-stars together. Let's go run the gym. Let's go run our local LA Fitness for 4 hours straight and nobody can beat us, you know? And if you're just like, yo, I don't want to play with him, yo, I'm better than him. I know I can beat him. You know, I'm better than him. I don't want him on my team. You're going to end up trying to do everything yourself and you're going to gas yourself out. Might try to injure yourself doing too much.
Yeah.
You know, and you end up losing and you go home mad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And nobody wins.
And nobody wins. Well, he might win because he just beat you. Right. But it's just like, you know,
but I feel like it's just a short-term victory.
It's just a short-term victory.
Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, and then it could be something like, you know, we could do this every Saturday. We can go to a different court every Saturday. You're on my team. We can run this every week. One, if I'm on the court 3 hours straight, I'm getting great cardio. I'm losing weight. This is great. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I'm winning.
Yeah.
And I don't have to do too much because all of us can score. You see what I'm saying? Like you know, if I'm having to score 12 points a game, I'm injuring something. You see what I'm saying? Like I'm injuring something. But if I can pass you the ball and you can score, let's keep doing that. Right. You know what I'm saying? We're all talented, so we can all win together. So that's how I like to equate it. Like basketball and music, like hand in hand for me. You know, so
yeah,
we can all win.
That's a good way to look at it. Yeah, because I mean, like, you can only do so much on your own, essentially. You know, like you can do a lot, but you can only do so much. You know, no matter how talented you are, no matter how much energy you've got. I mean, and I think people just got a lot of pride. I think people have so much pride, and they want to win, and they want the win to be, they want their name on the trophy. You know, it's got to be me.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
I mean, I don't know. I've always been the type of person. I feel like I would rather, what is it? A rising tide raises all ships. You know,
makes sense.
I just like the idea of like, I would rather bring a bunch of other people up, because I think that's naturally gonna raise me up, and I know it will. And also this idea that, you know, we can play together. That's a great way to put it. You know, we can all play the game together, and I can pass it off to you and just let you do your thing, and then I can sit back on the sideline for a minute and just rest.
Yeah,
because then I can play better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's only one ball. There's only one aux cord.
Yeah.
Like the engineers, like whoever's doing the sound man's only letting one aux cord go.
Yeah.
You know, there's only one ball on the court.
Uh-huh.
You see what I'm saying? So it's just like,
and it doesn't hurt you to let somebody else shine from it.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, and then like with all these other showcases, like I said, it's literally something every week.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And it's like, you got to be a madman to go to every event every single week. There's some that do, but it's just like there's opportunity for everybody. You know, there's opportunity for everybody. And then like what might be a lane for one person may not be a lane, you know, for you. It might be, you know, something else. Mm-hmm. You know, but it's just like there's opportunity for everybody. You know, it's really that simple. You know, and then like I said, going back to that networking or whatever, it's like I got 3 all-stars on my team, and like I said, but like I think y'all two should work together. I'm bringing this guy to the court with me. You know, hey, this is my guy. Hey, what's going on? Y'all got 5? Cool. This is my guy. Let's run. More all-stars.
Yeah.
You know,
when if you're a fan, like you said, like if you're genuinely a fan, it feels cool to bring 2 all-stars together.
Yeah.
Because that's like what you want to see.
Exactly.
You want to see the best of the best working together.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Exactly.
Just cool.
It's good hoops.
Yeah, exactly.
It's great
a
hoops.
good game.
Yeah, you know, like
it's for the love of the game.
Who doesn't want to see that?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like that's I make really good beats, but like that's really what I like to see.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, it's like, as much as I hate to say it, it's like when you saw like LeBron and D Wade team up. You know, shout out Chris Bosh too. But like, you know, seeing LeBron and D Wade team up, you know, it's just like, in what world would you have seen that? You know, and like just seeing it happen, it's just like, oh, no, this is fire. You know, this, you know, I don't know about saying it's great hoops, but like, you know, it's just like seeing 2 just like really good all-stars just come together.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, it's just like the one picture of when D Wade like passes the ball to LeBron and he's like doing like the spread eagle pose and he's like dunking behind him or whatever. It's like that's when I try to link 2 people together, that's what I want to see.
That's the iconography time of what you're saying.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. You know, so like any 2 people that I see work together, we're gonna Photoshop their faces every single time. You know, so that's it. That's literally it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because it's like worlds colliding in a sense.
Yeah, no, seriously. You know, and like I said, like who doesn't, you know, if it doesn't work, if it doesn't work, the project just won't come out.
Yep.
You know? Yeah. Whatever. You know, but it's just like usually like I was talking to Damo about this like at their listening party. I'm like, I'm shooting 95% from the field as far as just like linking people together. Like I don't think I've had since moving here, I don't think I've had like one bad like look as far as just like having people like link.
What do you mean like bad look?
As far as just like when I'm telling 2 people to get together, like I don't think I've had like a bad thing happen at all. So like it's usually a project that happens. You know, it's not just like one song. You know, so like if I'm like I said, Damo, Omar, or shout out my brother Castaway, man. And Going Somewhere. Me and Castaway, we have a project called Circle 01 that's dropping really soon. And you know, I got Castaway Going Somewhere. I'm like, y'all 2 should link. Their project is like pretty much done, you know. So and low key, it sounds better than ours. You know what I'm saying? So like, and that's usually what happens. It's just like it ends up sounding better than the stuff that we do. Yeah. You know, and I think in my eyes, like I said, I think that's just because I'm a fan.
Yeah.
You know,
like you can see it from a mile away.
Yeah, you know, like it's like I'm listening to all of your stuff, and I'm listening to all of your stuff. It's a great sandwich.
You're a matchmaker.
It's peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
You know, it's my favorite sandwich. So yeah.
And it's gratifying. Again, like when you hear that thing and you know you brought that together, you basically made it. It makes you realize like the power you have.
Yeah.
Like you can make those things happen.
Yeah. And then also, it's all of it ties back. All of it ties back. It's like all of this happens in person. You know, and people know my vibe. You know, people know my vibe. So like if I'm telling them like, yo, this is gonna work, like they know my vibe. They know I'm not lying.
Yeah.
You know, and then because then like they know my vibe, I know your vibe, I know your vibe. It's gonna work. Like I'm not gonna put two assholes together.
Right.
You know, it's pause. As bad as that sounds. You know, it's like I'm not gonna put like two just like bad people together. Like you know, I'm not gonna be responsible for that, you know. And then plus that's not who I hang out with, you know, so like I would never make that happen.
Yeah. And like you've already people would trust your idea because you've already established yourself as like someone who genuinely just wants the best creatively. Yeah.
And it's like I genuinely want the best creatively and I'm good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like
so you have good taste.
Yeah, it's like if I was whack, like I probably wouldn't take my judgment either.
And the wackest people have the most opinions.
Exactly. You know, so I think since I have like a little bit of like merit behind like what I do, and like I said, I'm a good person too. It's like it just works out.
Yeah. I like to think of it like, you know, nothing is really like we never really create anything. Like everything is kind of a remix in a sense, and we're all just taking things and combining them, and that's what we do as humans. We take other ideas, we blend them, and we make them our own. And in that, like we're just curating. Everything we do is curation. We just curate things and bring them together. And so like you're kind of curating people. You're curating these people and bringing them together in this way. Just like you would curate a beat, just like you would curate an EP, just like you curate anything, you know? And so I think that's another reason people would trust your taste. It's like they've seen all the things you've curated already. Like, this guy knows what he's doing.
Definitely.
And, you know, I'm sure that once you've done it enough times, then it's like, oh, this guy he's a connector. Yeah. He's like a plug.
Yeah, like I try to connect the dots as much as possible. Like I said, I'm a fan, bro. Like I love it. I love it so much.
And I think that type of stuff really does feed back into you more than even making beats, more than even working with artists ever would. Because people remember those things. You know, it means so much. Because not only are you making connections, you're connecting connections.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's like next level. Most people would never even care to do something like that.
It's like the most positive pyramid scheme you could ever have.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's Herbalife, but like with good music.
Yeah.
You know, so that's really all it is, you know?
Yeah. Do what like how many beats do you make? Like what's your beat pace? Are you doing one every day? What's it like?
Okay. So
it's a loaded question apparently.
November. Okay, so there's a thing I do. This was my third year doing it. Last year was my third year doing it, called Nonstop November, right? So every November, I would make
different than No Nut November, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Yeah, this is like where I'm actually doing something, right?
Yeah. So
I'm making a new beat every single day, posting it to my Instagram every single day, right?
Okay, cool.
So like I said, it was my third year. First year it was like me and like maybe like 3 other people who actually like did all 30 days.
Yeah, because I mean that takes dedication.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like Thanksgiving. We're making beats on Thanksgiving.
That'd be like if I wrote a rap every day and posted it. Oh my god.
That's what I'm saying. It's tough. You know, and then second year it was like it went from like 4 other people to maybe like let's say like 6.
That keeps
7.
you motivated though too. Like and seeing other people do it.
Yeah. And then like this year it was it was like 13, 14.
Ooh, so it's
people.
growing.
Yeah, it's growing. And like these are all the homies though.
Yeah.
You know, these are all the homies, and these are all like, you know, some people I met like online, but these are all like people in the community.
Yeah.
You know, like some of them I look up to. Like shout out to Rashid Hadi. Like he's super talented producer, like legendary Chicago producer, and like he hopped in on the challenge as well. Shout out to Dusk and and King Carlo. I think they're still going, if I'm not mistaken. I think Dusk has been going since October. He's a madman. But you know, we're making a new beat every day, but like I'm not just making one beat. You know, some days I'll make 2. I think day 30 I made 6, right? All in all, in November I made, if I remember my count correctly, it was like 81.
Wow.
Yeah, like it's crazy. So like I did 81 in November. But like sometimes, you know, it'll be I could do 15 a month. I could do 20 a month. You know, it depends. Like December I didn't really do much. But like usually, like if I'm sitting down making if I'm like make the time out to make a beat, I'm usually doing like I try to do at least 1, but it'll turn into like 3.
Yeah. Well, like you said earlier, it's not like you're spending more than an hour or more than 40 minutes on a beat. So you could crank them out that way. Yeah.
Cause I have to be like really strategic about like making the time out to make beats now. I got a 3-year-old. So,
boy.
Yeah, but he's a 3-year-old that like loves music though.
Okay.
You know? So, like that 15 minutes to make a beat might turn into like 30 because like I'll chop a sample, but like he wants to mess with the pads and stuff too.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, nah, like my son's the best. Shout out crew.
Hey,
like,
you get him started now. You got a prodigy.
Nah, like he's I'm gonna give him, I'll give him 3 years. I'll give him 3 years. Yeah, like I
feel like music's its own language even.
Nah, like seriously. Like I remember I did a beat in October. Yeah, this was October. He has GarageBand on his iPad.
All right.
Yeah, he's turned into an iPad kid. Like
at least he's creating things with it.
Yeah, nah, seriously.
He's not watching YouTube, Spider-Man and Elsa.
It's crazy. Yeah, shout out Bluey.
Yeah, right. You know, number blocks.
Yeah, no, number blocks is fire.
I like that. Yeah.
He was I was just vacuuming my floor. I was just vacuuming the floor. I mean, I wouldn't vacuum anything else. I was vacuuming my room. And you know, he was just sitting there just
I was vacuuming my wall, you know.
Whatever. You know, I was vacuuming, and you know, he was just sitting there just like messing around with GarageBand or whatever. He's 3, remember this.
Yeah.
And I don't know how he figured out where the record button was. I mean, it is a big red button, but whatever. And you know, he had like a little keyboard or whatever, and he just started recording some stuff, and like I'm listening to it while I'm vacuuming, and I heard something. I was just like, this sounds really good.
You got the stank face going.
Yeah. And it was like it didn't sound like you know, he wasn't Herbie Hancock, you know, but like I heard something, and I was just like, yo, I stopped vacuuming. And I plugged his iPad up into my SP404, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna sample this. You know, I'm gonna sample this, and like maybe like 20 minutes later, we made our first beat together. Yo. You know, yeah. So like I sampled what he did on GarageBand, and you know, made a beat. And then what's even crazier, like I said, shout out again to C Red. Like she's amazing MC. Doctor by day, MC by night. Seriously. And I sent the beat to her, and 2 days later she sent me a verse. And so I'm like, you're 3 years old with co-production credits and a verse from like one of my favorite rappers, you know, and like it looks like the beat's crazy, and the verse is even crazier. you know, so beats, like I said, it turns into 15, it turns into 10. I say all that to say that. But yeah, but I have a 3-year-old, so like it's just it turns into, the numbers vary, you know.
Yeah.
But like I try to get in 1 to 3 anytime I sit down and just make a beat or make beats. Because what'll happen too is I could have one sample. I could have, let's say I could have one record, right? So I have one record, and off of one record, I could, depending on if the record is good, I could make 7 to 8 beats off of just like that one record.
Oh, really?
Because what could happen is I could make 2 records off of one song, because I can chop the sample a different way. You know what I'm saying? So like I could use a different technique on the same sample, make 2 different beats.
But they sound different, like completely different.
Yeah. So I remember I actually did this. What's today's the 3rd? I did this the first day of the year. No, this was New Year's Eve actually. I took one sample, made 2 totally different beats out of it.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, and it's just like really just taking you can take a different part of the song. You could take a different part of the song, or like you could maybe change the pitch of the song, make it sound totally different, or maybe just chop the sample a different way. Chop a sample a different way, throw a different type of drums on it. You know, I've had a beat where like I've had the same sample. I made like a K-Tronada like sounding beat, and then like I'll took that same sample, make it sound a little different, and just ends up sounding like a West Side Gun Griselda beat. Right. You know, so it's different ways that you can go about it. So like that's how it can turn from like 1 beat to like 4 very, very easy. So yeah.
Yeah, just different approaches.
Yeah.
Like different ways of flipping it, different ways of manipulating it. Like all these things can make it sound completely different into something fresh and new. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. How often do you have beats that you just kind of toss to the side then? If you're making beats all the time, is it often that you kind of just don't render one, it doesn't go to the MP3? Or are we at the point now where everything kind of works?
It's not often.
Not often?
I would say, yeah, it's really not often. I would say maybe like 1 every 20.
Oh, wow.
1 every 20 beats, yeah.
So 5%.
Yeah, because the reason I'll say that is quick math. The reason why I say that is because like it doesn't stay gone for long, you know. So I'll because I've started to do a better job of like project management, as far as just like making sure I know like what's bounced or like what's MP3 or what's not. So it's not much now. So like I'll end up going to it the next day, or just like leaving it alone, or like really just like I know the formula now.
Yeah.
Because then like if I'm listening to the sample, I'm already kind of like 5 steps ahead. So I can kind of tell if it's not going to work.
Yeah.
You know, so like what'll end up happening is maybe the sample doesn't work, but the drums do. So like I end up tossing the sample to the side, and then just like making something totally different with the drums. So like the project is good, but like the sample's tossed. So that happens a lot. I actually did that like the other day.
Yeah.
So yeah.
How do you extract the drums from a beat like that? Is it just finding?
Oh no, I'm just saying like the drums that I make. But you can do that though.
Yeah.
Like I try not to do it a lot, but they have like stem separation.
Does it work though?
It's getting better.
Yeah, it's AI.
Better. Yeah. So like you can use like Serato sample. You can use FL Studio. I think you can do it in like the newest machine software.
Because you just don't want, what is it? Artifacts.
Yeah. Oh, shut up. Like RX-7, 8, whatever it is now.
Yeah.
But like it's getting a lot better. It's getting a lot better to where like the artifacts aren't as bad. Yeah, but I stay away from it. I try not to do it unless it's like dire.
Yeah.
Cause like the processing time like it takes to do it, I'm just like I could have did the beat by the time it like separated the stems.
Yeah.
You know, but if it's like something where I'm just like, yo, this sounds great, I just need the drums to just get up out of here. I'll do that, but I stay away from it usually.
Yeah.
But one thing I do like to do, like if I do like a stem separation sort of thing, I'll take drums, but I'll like make one shots out of them. So like, let's say like I like the drums off of like a certain song, but like this kick drum sounds incredible, or like this snare sounds incredible. Like I'll just take the kick and I'll take like the snare and I'll just like
I see.
save it. Yeah, and I'll save it, and then like I'll use those sounds.
Use that
like
on anything.
Later. Yeah. So yeah.
And you could basically make a drum kit out of that.
Basically.
Yeah.
So
I mean, do you, with drums, are you usually like programming those in, or is that sample based too?
Yeah.
Like you actually are kind of playing the drums out then?
Yeah. Because
cool.
I use the machine.
A drum pad or a loop pad. What do you call it?
It's a company called Native Instruments. They have some called the Machine, and so it's almost like an MP. It's pretty much like an MPC, just a different company. So they have like 16 pads. So like I'm doing this.
Okay.
I hate clicking. I'm not a point clicker person.
Well, I feel like for drums it would just be counterintuitive, because drums kind of are a percussive instrument, so you kind of want to be percussive with it and feeling it out like that. Yeah.
Like in the way that I make beats, I guess, like since I'm a hip hop based producer, it's like you familiar with like Dilla time or anything like that?
Sounds familiar, but no, I don't know.
So familiar with Jay Dilla?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Jay Dilla has they call it Dilla time, but it's just basically where he doesn't quantize his beats. So like
I see.
Yeah, so like,
and for those that don't know, quantizing is like when it matches it up to the tempo, and it kind of it's like the opposite of humanizing. So it's like
it's not on the grid.
Yeah, exactly. And when
it's not on the, it's like not cookie cutter. So like if it's not a perfect square. Like,
and you don't want it to be too perfect,
exactly.
Then it doesn't sound human anymore.
Because no human plays 100% perfect.
Yep. I mean, that's actually become a problem with rock music, is like quantized drums and like people like clicking in drums. It sounds fake, and it's something you'll see more and more with rock music now.
So like it's I'm just asking this question. So are they like no longer playing to a click track, and they're just like actually like artificially like doing it now, or like,
I don't know. I think what it is they are quantizing the drums themselves. I think that's what it is, which is just a weird choice. But I think that's what it is.
Got you.
I'm not sure though. Like, don't take my word.
I feel you. Nah, yeah, because I'm not the biggest like rock listener for real. But
I was just surprised when I heard it. I'm like, why? Why would you even do that?
There are certain like VSTs and different like programs and stuff that you can play like realistic drums. Like I shout out to Addictive Drums. Like it sounds like a very real drum kit, so you don't necessarily need a session drummer. So like I could play stuff like on the computer, and then if I want to just quantize it, press a button right there. So you could do that. But yeah, like I don't quantize. I try not to quantize my beats as much anymore, or like I might quantize my kick and my snare, but like I won't quantize my hi-hat or something like that. Just to give it like that natural swing. You know, so that's something that I've been doing like for a long time. But that's like the one thing that I've been doing. So,
because it can just sound like, if it's too perfect, your mind knows better. Like you might not. It might sound funny, but you can't even put a finger on why. And a lot of the time, it's something like that when it's so perfect.
Yeah, exactly. And like hip hop's not supposed to sound perfect.
It's supposed to be raw.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so like that natural, like it's almost like a walk. It's just like like your walk has a certain rhythm to it. And like it's not like a perfect walk every time. It's like you might slow down like just a smidge it. So yeah. And like this wasn't a problem before we had DAWs. Like this wasn't a thing. You would just if something wasn't right, it'd be okay. You just have to accept it. There was a point in time when you could only do 4 tracks and record 4 tracks, and that was it. 4 track, like I think with the SP1200, cause that was like what a lot of people were using. Like you had like your Lin drums and like your MPCs and stuff like that. But you know, like with the SP1200, I think you had maybe like 12 seconds of sample time.
Wow.
Like, period. You know, so
limitation breeds creativity.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
Man.
and that's like drums, sample included.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So like
12 seconds.
Yeah.
It's like nothing.
Exactly. You know, so like stuff like that, you know, so yeah, like it's insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
It makes you appreciate, you know, all the stuff that came before. Before
seriously.
we had all the things we have now.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I mean, it's more accessible than ever.
Yeah.
You know, you can just grab a plugin and go.
Yeah.
Like
there was
buy hardware.
Yeah, seriously, there was no stem separation. There was no stem separation. It wasn't on a computer. Like all your equipment was, you know, this big.
Yep.
You know, if you were, you know, God forbid you had like a reel-to-reel or something like that, you know, you're carrying these big reels. Yeah, like it was legit studio equipment. It's just like it wasn't leaving the crib, you know? So, yeah, like a lot of limitations for real.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And like, I've thought about it. Like, I do think there's a difference with analog and digital. Like, I think we probably have lost something along the way, just because it's kind of like it reminds me of film versus digital, right? With movies, where it's like you could say they're the same, and digital looks good often, but film just has this feel to it. And digital, whenever it's done, like whenever it's comparable to film, really what it's doing is replicating film. And I think it's the same exact thing with plugins, where it's like, yeah, you can get most of the way there, but I think that it's all really just an imitation of the analog. And the analog is actually the OG. That's the original. Like, that's what's going to give you the best tone, the most authentic thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas a plugin is just doing its best to replicate that.
Yeah.
But who's going to go out and buy all that hardware and have a studio that costs $5,000?
Yeah.
You know,
Nah, that last thing that you said, that's the biggest difference with
when everything's baked in too. That's the other thing.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like that's what you just said. That's the biggest difference with everything, and that's the even bigger difference with music in general.
What
right?
what is the price or
no? Yeah, no. So as far as I'll say it like this. So
okay,
when you were talking about film,
analog versus digital,
analog versus digital, like and this goes back to creativity as well, right? You like you know if you're shooting like 35 mil, or if you know you're shooting like something like that, or if you're shooting Super 8, time is even shorter, right? Like you had to be, and this goes back to talking about the SP1200 as well. You had to be creative with the time that you had.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
everything's a choice.
Everything is a choice, and you know, I shoot photos as well, so I do like I do like film photography as well. If I'm shooting digital, I can do bursts all day.
Yeah.
I can do bursts all day. But if I'm shooting film, I have 35 shots that I can shoot, right? So slows me down. I got to be strategic with everything that I'm doing, right? Yeah. So we're making sure that this is right. We're making sure that this is right. We're trying to get it right the first time. You know, I shoot Polaroid too. I got 8 shots. This pack, I have 8 shots. This pack of Polaroid, $20, right?
Yeah.
I got to get this right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like I can't just shoot 50 million pictures with my phone and put it on the app, right? And like make it look like a Polaroid, right? You know, one, it doesn't look the same at all. You know, and two, like, you know, digital, right? So that goes like what you were talking about with like film and all that, film versus digital.
Yeah.
And then taking this to the music side, I feel like that is sort of why we are in producer land. I feel like this is why we are kind of like in the phase that we're in right now, as far as just like people using like the AIs and you know, like Suno and like, you know, Timbaland doing all the crap that he's doing.
Yeah,
because
thanks man.
Yeah, nah, for sure. Because it's becoming easier to make to like produce and make beats now.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, it's
and
like
that doesn't necessarily make it better.
Exactly. The entry level has just become like it's making it feel like everybody can do it now. So it's just like everybody's in the pool, and the pool is tainted now, right? So like back then, it's like it cost it like the entry level was so high, like it cost to get this equipment, right?
Yeah.
It cost to get the studio time. You had to, and then like if this was me in like 92, it's like me making, like me taking 15 minutes to make a beat, like that's not going to happen, right?
Yeah, right.
At all. It might take me 15 minutes just to chop the sample.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I've noticed that like whenever I use like my older SB404, like it takes me forever just to chop the sample. I'm like, I'm cool. Let me just go back to the machine,
Right.
Because the beat's been done in my head the past 5 minutes. I just gotta do this, boom, 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 right? But when you cross over to the digital side or whatever, it's just like you telling me all I need is a cracked version of Fruity Loops and I can do like all of this stuff, and this is like, I'm not even talking about YouTube tutorials also, like, whenever I started making beats, like there weren't YouTube tutorials. You know what I'm saying? Like we had to figure that out ourselves, or you had to pay for it.
Yeah.
And I'm in 7th grade. I ain't got no money to pay. Like my mom's not gonna pay for a Fruity Loops tutorial. I'm like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? And so now everybody, like, it's so easy to get a cracked version of Fruity Loops. But my mom bought it for me. Thank you. But like, so you can figure out how to do it. You figure out how to do it, and then you have your sample packs and like your splice loops, and so you're telling me I don't have to chop a single sample, I don't have to play a single key, I can just add all of these loops, make a beat, and now you telling me all I got to do is just write a prompt and the beat's done.
Yeah.
Word. We're in here, so so it's like that. Like I said, going back to, like I said, the film versus digital thing, it's just like the way that it's the process of just like being a producer and just like doing music now is just like drastically different. Like you can use like not even just like making beats, like just like with doing music, like we got AI artists that are, like charting on Billboard, like stuff like you can be an engineer and you can like have like AI mastering tools and stuff like that, so it's a lot easier to do things now.
Yeah.
So that's why I say like everybody's in the pool, so the pool's
and I think the craft changes due to that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, I think when everything is limited, when resources are limited, when everything is on a crunch, you see people trying harder.
Yeah.
Because they know how little we have.
Yeah.
And so it's like, this is the take we need. I think it's why you used to see movies do way more one takes, where it's like, this shot is 5 minutes long, because that's actually easier for us to do than to do a bunch of other shots and cut between them. It's way easier if we just do all this in one take.
Yeah.
And you go back and you watch it, it's super impressive, because that means nobody could fuck up for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
Exactly.
And that used to be the standard.
Yeah.
It used to be, you have to get it all right the first time, and if you don't get it right the first time, you damn sure better get it right the second or third time.
Exactly.
After that, now everybody's upset with you.
Exactly. I don't think I don't think anybody's used to pressure anymore.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. I think,
and that's what makes a diamond.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the gem right there. Like, no, the pressure isn't gone, or the pressure is gone. I can waste 3 hours of studio time. I can write in the studio. I'm punching every 4 bars. I messed this up. Let's Control Z. Let's Apple Z. Let's run it back.
Yeah,
you know?
And that's a privilege right there.
That's a privilege, you know. Or it's like a I had a point, I totally forgot it. But it's just like but the
pressure makes a diamond. Pressure makes a diamond.
The pressure of not the pressure of knowing that you don't have to get it right the first time. Mm-hmm. That's and that was the other thing. So you'll be surprised on what you're able to do if you use your brain. Right?
Yeah.
You know, so like I said, when you have limited resources, you're going to use your brain that much more.
Yeah.
You know, so like you're using 2% of your brain if you write a prompt. You know, it's like you're using 15% of your brain if you click and drag a loop. You're just like pressing the down button just to figure out what loop sounds good, you know, or you're using 5% of your brain to, you know, pull out your card to buy a sample pack, you know. So you know, but then like it used to take effort, you know, like I'm not trying to be the old guy, but it's like, you know, taking the time to learn the craft is gone.
Yeah.
And that's not even just with music. That's like with a lot of stuff.
Pretty much everything.
Yeah. You know.
Because everything's so accessible.
Everything.
That's accessible. What makes the difference is the accessibility. And I think like that's the catch of it all, right? Yeah. Is you get this world where everything becomes so easy, and you'd think that what's going to happen is it breeds opportunity and it makes everybody better. Mm-hmm. But what happens is people start to rely on all that stuff and they don't use their brain as much. They don't use that creativity, that imagination that made everything so good before. Instead, what you see is people relying on the accessibility of all this stuff. Yeah, for sure. And for me, I think what would be the most ideal scenario is you take that same mindset from the past and you use these tools that we have now and you make amazing things. Yeah. But instead you don't get that. And that's what hurts. I mean, some people do it. Some people do it. And those are the people that inspire me, and those are the people that stick out. And it reminds me that, you know, it's not hopeless. There is, and I think it's always kind of been this way, where it's like the 1% of people are the ones that are going to try the hardest. That's just the way it is. But it's just everybo's got a voice now, and everybody, you can see everything. I was just about to say that. Yeah. I was going to say, like, just like how you said it, like, the one thing that I'm still having to remind myself to do is like stop focusing on the ones that are doing it the wrong way and focus on the ones that are doing it the right way. Yeah. You know, because the ones that are doing it the right way, the ones that are doing it the wrong way outweigh the ones that are doing it the right way. Like you said, it's 1%. You know, so yeah, they're going to get more. The ones that are doing it wrong are going to get more shine regardless, because there's more people. You know, so if you just focus on that 1% just for your own sanity, you know, then like everything will be like perfectly fine. Like your life's algorithm will change that much more. Like if you just focus on like the ones that are doing it right. Yeah, it's like a diet. Yeah, exactly. It's like what you consume creates you. Exactly. And you become what you are, what you eat. Exactly. 100%. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. And, you know, I think it's so easy because, again, if everything is everywhere all the time, it becomes so easy to consume all that stuff. Mm-hmm. It's right there. It's at your feet. You see it when you scroll on your phone. Yeah. And you have to actually make an effort to find the stuff that pushes you and makes you better. Mm-hmm. You have to look for it. You have to seek it out, you know. Yeah. And to me, you know, again, I don't think that it's ever changed. I don't think it's like the world got worse. I really do think that it's always been like this. I just think that like social media has created this place where, again, accessibility. Everybody can just put themselves out there now. Mm-hmm. And so everybody's got this chance. And I think what it's kind of proven is that, you know, in the past there were gatekeepers in a sense. There was people curating the content that you would see, and that is out the window now. Now those people are trying to curate it, and they're trying, like, labels are still trying to be labels, but it's like, what are they gonna do when this guy who makes meme music is doing way better than them, and all he's doing is rapping about wearing a diaper or something. I mean, he blows up.
To be real, it's still getting curated.
Yeah,
it's still getting curated, just in a very, very different way.
Yeah.
Right, I guess it's RIP MTV from what I heard, but like, you know, you had your MTV, your VH1, or just like whatever, like that, whatever, not even just music, just like whatever, or like even tabloids or whatever, like they were like talking about like what's popular, or like who like the popular person was, or you know, stuff like that or whatever, right? So you're still seeing that, you know, in 2025, 2026, you're still seeing that, but it's just like they're not the best people, you know?
Yeah. And that's been revealed.
Yeah, it's terrible, yeah. But it's just like, even like the people that they say like are, you know, that they say are popular now, it's just like, you know, they're still curating that. You know, it's just like, you know, with Stranger Things or whatever, like I'm seeing Millie Bobby Brown everywhere, right?
Yep. Yeah.
You know, and I'm seeing like people everywhere, you know, that like the media is constantly putting in our faces. Like I'm seeing Aiden Ross everywhere.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And but then like we had like,
and it's like, when have I ever typed in Aiden Ross's name?
Exactly. You know, but then like we said, like everything is accessible. You know, so it's kind of up to you to not be spoon fed.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely,
it was like
don't scroll, essentially. Just don't scroll.
Not even don't scroll. It's just like actually look at what you like.
Yeah.
And don't let somebody tell you what to like. You know, like people were always like, you know, back then, you know, they had the big wooden spoon to tell you what, you know, to feed you to what to like, but you have more of a choice. You have more choice now more than ever, than that you can make like the choice that you really want.
And the easiest thing is to be spoon fed.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
easiest thing is to just let it happen.
And that's where that curation comes from. And then like,
but then your personality becomes the algorithm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like that algorithm is the biggest curator, because like there's putting way more money behind it now.
Yeah.
You know, so like I think the one thing that I did, especially like with social, because like I tried the social media purge, it didn't work. I was just like, screw this, I can't do it.
It's hard when you're a creator.
Exactly.
It's like, how am I going to get people to see me?
Yeah. Like what I did is I just unfollowed the stuff that didn't please me anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I stopped following the IG models. You know, I stopped following the brain rot pages. You know, it's just like,
right.
So I just started, you know, kept following like, you know, the things that actually inspired me, you know. And I kept following the homies, you know, and I feel like that helped a lot. And then you know, turning off the recommended pages or whatever, you know. But yeah, just like doing something as simple as that, you know, just like, you know, is pretty much a similarity of changing your circle for the most part.
Yeah.
Or going to like a different part of the park, you know, and like looking at those flowers instead of like looking at the weeds over here, you know. I feel like that's one thing that like really helped, because then like I see that like I'm not scrolling as much anymore, you know. But yeah, like, and then like I'm starting to see like, you know, like I said, stuff that like actually like piques my interest, or like piques like another like part of my brain or whatever, you know. And it's like I said, just not looking at like twerking and you know, costing that all day, you know. So.
And there's so much more outside of that small bubble, whatever bubble you're in.
It's literally 2%.
Yeah,
you know, so.
You're seeing like such a small. It's like if you were looking through the paper towel tube, you know, and then you take it off. You just see everything.
Seriously,
yeah.
Like, that's literally what it is. You know, so.
And you can easily just dumb yourself down in that way. And I feel like, you know, the best creators, the most fine-tuned minds are the people who don't get boxed in that way, you know, like they think by themselves. They don't rely on the ideas of other people. It's that independent perspective that makes them who they are. Like when I think of my greatest inspirations, it's people who move differently.
Yeah.
And those people would never be a follower. They would never be the type of person that would just do what someone else says.
Yeah.
And so I try to keep that in mind at all times, you know. It's like,
for sure,
just think about the people that you respect the most.
Yeah.
And then try to be like them. That's the point, you know. That's why you like them. And if you find yourself like becoming that other thing, you have to find a way out of it. You have to escape yourself, you know. No one else is going to break you out of prison
except that part. Exactly. Yeah. No, you're 100% correct. You know, I like to think like the same exact way, you know, like, cause I have you know, I have like nieces and nephews and stuff, you know, as well as my son. And you know, I'm always like thinking of like that younger like generation too. Is like they
now more than ever, right?
Yeah, because like it's, you know, like I'm 33. I turn 34 next week, and you know, like I've lived pre-internet, you know, so you know, just like seeing how like a lot of like the younger generation just like they're spoon-fed so much.
And I feel like they don't have a way of knowing better.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and it's not like the schools or anything make it any better, right? But it's like everybody has an iPhone and they use it like for 5% of what it's like meant to be used for, right? You know, and it's like there's so many things that you're able to do if like you actually just like put forth the effort to actually go find it.
Yeah.
You know, one part might be like laziness and not wanting to find it and just wanting to be spoon-fed. But you know, the other part just might be like not necessarily knowing where to start. You know, they may not know where the shovel is to start digging, or they may not know where to actually dig.
Yeah.
Or they may not even know how a shovel works.
They don't even know there's a shovel.
They may not even know what a shovel is.
Right.
You know, so it's just like, you know, simple stuff like that. You have to like figure out like where the starting point is.
Yeah.
You know, because like I said, since everything is accessible, like everybody's starting point is like so different now. You know, because like I said, everybody didn't start at the same spot like how it was whenever everything was like heavily curated, you know. So like I said, you could like the upbringing is like way different because like I said, everybody's algorithm like started way different. You know, so
yeah, and I feel like the only thing you could do like with kids is just give them the right perspective, just like to show them that it is a choice. Like you could easily fall into that pattern of just getting caught in whatever you're being given. But I think that like, you know, it's good to have taste, essentially. It's good to have a personality and taste and like figure out what you like, you know, and that's cool. That's the coolest thing you could do to me. Like that's what makes you who you are. I would never want to be anybody else. Like
no,
that's great. I feel good that I feel weird.
For sure.
That's awesome.
There's
I'd
more
rather
to life
be the
than
weird
6'7".
me.
There's more to life than 6'7", you know? That's it.
There's 69.
Yeah, exactly. Wait till you get older. You never know, yeah?
Come on, kids.
So yeah, now I feel that 100%.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's an eternal struggle for me because I'm always thinking I don't want to sound like Unc. I don't want to sound like an old man, but like it is true that the world is not the world I grew up in. It's just true. And I think it's like trying to bring back that raw creativity that inspired me. Like I feel like even in the world of hip hop, I feel like hip hop has become a lot. I like to liken it to like classic rock, right? Where it's like you had classic rock and then it explodes into all these subgenres. Except with classic rock, we learned to call them subgenres. You call it all these different things. And I feel like I have this old school mentality with hip hop. Like I think of hip hop as an MC. Like you are a lyricist first. You are a poet in a sense, and you are writing. It's one of the purest forms of expression that you could possibly have, and that's not quite what hip hop is now. And it's not to say that it's wrong what hip hop is now. It's just that we never defined it as all these different subgenres. So there's all these things that are hip hop that I would never consider hip hop, but it's just that the world has expanded. And so it's like I'm always in this struggle of like, am I just an old man? Or is that the world has changed and I'm right? And I don't know. It's hard to tell, because that's the problem with change and growing older, is like you kind of do become the people that you like. When you're 15, you're looking at 40-year-olds, you're like, yeah, they're out of touch. And then when you're 40, you're like, wait a minute, am I out of touch? It's hard to tell. I feel that. Yeah. Because maybe they were right all along. Maybe the 40-year-olds were right.
Nah, I think it's a couple of different parts, right?
Yeah.
I think, because I'm right there with you too. I think like really hip hop is the youngest genre, right?
Yeah, it is.
Like it
really literally is.
It just turned 50. You know, like
wow.
It just turned 50 like last year. You know what I'm saying? So so it just turned 50. And people just thought hip hop was just going to be a fad, right? So I don't think the curators, I don't think the media cared to necessarily like subgenre it the way that like they would do like the way they would do rock for the most part, because like I hate this conversation. Not this conversation, but like the conversation that people have, like what's hip hop, what's rap, blah blah blah, right?
Yeah.
But like there are differences, right? So like yacht rock is different than metal.
Yeah.
Right. But then like let's say Lil Baby makes different music than MF Doom. But
of course.
But if they're nominated for Grammys, they're going to be in the same category.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So but I think that now that people are finally like having like a voice in like that bigger media space to where they can actually like make some sort of change, I feel like those subgenres are coming. We know that there are subgenres, but I don't think the media has cared enough to actually make those changes where they actually matter. Cause like I said, I'm not putting Talib Kweli in like the same genre as
like Future.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
and they're both good.
Yeah,
like that's the point.
In their space.
Yeah.
And
one doesn't detract from the other.
Yeah, and I think that is the biggest issue with hip hop music, right?
Yeah.
I feel like if think of it like dessert, right? Think of it like dessert.
I can't wait to see where you're going with this.
I'm saying so. Let me see. I'm trying to think of my favorite. I'm a fat kid. So let's see.
All the foods
that's what I'm
going
saying.
through your mind. Like, no, I can't pick that one. No, I can't pick that one.
Pumpkin pie tastes very, very different than red velvet cake. Right? They taste very, very different. But the way that the media makes it, they're putting them in the same. They're just saying it's all dessert.
Yeah.
Right? So pumpkin pie is different than red velvet cake, but the judges are only judging dessert, right? Instead of judging what's the best tasting pumpkin pie, what's the best tasting red velvet cake, right? Like I could make a pumpkin pie. You could make a pumpkin pie. Granted, I hate pumpkin pie. But
shame on you.
Yeah, I'm a sweet potato.
What kind of fat kid are you?
I'm one like sweet potato, you know. But you could put like more like 5 spice in your pumpkin pie, or I could put like more cinnamon in mine or something like that, right? So,
ooh, cinnamon.
You know, I'm just saying, I'm just throwing ingredients out there, right? But like something like that could make the pumpkin pie better, right? But then I make a way better red velvet cake than I do pumpkin pie. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Beyonce is red velvet cake, or different. Jay-Z is red velvet cake.
I love this metaphor.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Jay-Z is red velvet cake, right?
Yeah.
Lil Baby is pumpkin pie. In my opinion, Jay-Z is better than Lil Baby, right? 2 pumpkin pies, 1 red velvet cake. Jay-Z, red velvet cake. Lil Baby, he's pumpkin pie 1. Future is pumpkin pie 2. Why am I judging Jay-Z with Future and Lil Baby when I can judge the best pumpkin pie with Future and Lil Baby? And I can have Nas with like a pound cake or like a carrot cake or something like that. We can judge the best cake. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel like now people are getting there. They're getting there to where like, that's the, going back to what I was saying, that's the problem, is that everybody is judging hip hop as a dessert. Hip hop they're judging as a dessert and not by their respective,
because all these desserts are different.
Yeah, all the desserts are different, and the media is trying to put them all in one category.
Yeah,
and
the public wouldn't know any better,
and the public doesn't know any better.
Yeah,
so they're just like, you know, I like dessert. I like dessert a lot.
Because who doesn't?
Yeah, who doesn't? What's your favorite dessert? This pumpkin pie is the best dessert that's ever made. I really, really like red velvet cake. Red velvet cake is way better than pumpkin pie. But no, pumpkin pie sells way more than red velvet cake. So pumpkin pie is better than red velvet cake. But no, the taste of red velvet cake is way better than pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
Why are we talking about pumpkin pie? Or why are we talking about pumpkin pie more than red velvet cake? They're 2 totally different types of One's not even a batter for real. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like the way that it doesn't work like that. And I feel like the confusion with that and the way that they're trying to put it all together, it doesn't make sense. So if you put everything on the table the way that it's supposed to be made, I feel like
we all join hands and sing Kumbaya.
Exactly. And then once pumpkin pie is selling more than, this analogy is great. Pumpkin pie is selling way more than red velvet cake. Pumpkin pie is in 10 stores. You're seeing pumpkin pie in 10 stores. Red velvet cake is only in the mom and pop shops. You see what I'm saying? So since red velvet cake is at every Jewel Osco, and I can only get this red velvet cake in Pilsen, everybody can go to any Jewel Osco in Illinois or Chicago or whatever. So if they see pumpkin pie all the time, pumpkin pie is going to be better than red velvet cake. You see what I'm saying? But so some people don't even know that the red velvet cake exists. So they're going to say that the pumpkin pie is better. You know, like once, and I think that's the problem, is that like the people that know the red velvet cake, and like there's the people that can vouch for the red velvet cake and be like, yo, this is good, you should listen to this. Nah, I don't care about that red velvet cake. This pumpkin pie is hidden. This pumpkin pie is good.
Yeah.
I don't care about that red velvet cake. So I've been eating red velvet cake for 20 years. And you're just going to say, F this red velvet cake, and just like diminish everything, like diminish all these ingredients that I've made. You're just going to say, it's not worth anything. You know, so I feel like that's what the hip hop people, real hip hop, feels about like the people who try to like categorize all of it because like
old heads, the old
heads, pretty much the unks, right? Yeah. That's how they feel about how like the genre is being displayed, or how it's being portrayed or whatever, because like it's all there at the same time.
Then the other people will say you're stuck in the past, you can't move on.
Exactly,
all these things.
Exactly. You know, like pumpkin pie might be like the newest thing on the block or whatever, but like we've been making this since the 30s.
And it's like remembering your roots too. Like that's where we started.
Exactly.
You know, it reminds me of when Lil Pump, there was that thing where he was talking, I think it was Lil Pump, and he said, yeah, Tupac's kind of ass or whatever he said about Tupac. Yeah. And to me, that's not surprising at all. Like, of course he doesn't like Tupac. We're talking about Lil Pump. Yeah. Like, have you heard his music and then Tupac's music? They're just two different things.
Yeah, exactly.
He shouldn't like Tupac.
Yeah.
Like, that is not surprising. But again, it's like the way the media portrays things. You know, if you put all of it in the same box and then you say, oh, this guy doesn't like Tupac, like then you're gonna piss off all the people who are like the classic old school people, and then all the people with the new school mentality, they probably don't like Tupac either.
Yeah, like my grandma made this red velvet cake. Yo, you should really try this red velvet cake. Nah, that shit's out of here. Yeah. We're making pumpkin pie now.
Yeah,
you feel me? So it's just like pumpkin pie. You know, I've seen it before. You know, I've tasted it before. It's whatever. But now this pumpkin pie's hidden.
Yeah.
Fuck this red velvet cake. You know, I don't care. You know, so that's pretty much how it is. You know, so you know, that's how I feel. But like,
and I think they all should just have room to breathe. Like that's what I'm saying. Really,
we
the
should
best
all
scenario.
be in the same store. Yeah. Like if you put the red velvet cake not right next to the pumpkin pie, it makes no sense. But like put it in every dessert section. Yeah. You know, just have all the desserts laid out. And I think that's really what it is too, because I feel like a lot of like these underground hip hop artists, like they need to have the same amount of shine that I remember. So like I said, I'm from Florida. So, you know, I'm in middle school. This is like Southern hip hop is like king. You know, this is, you know. Yeah. So I remember I could listen to the radio. I could hear like Diamonds Are Forever from Kanye. And then like maybe 2 songs after that, I could hear like Snap Your Fingers from Lil Jon. You know what I'm saying? But now like it's just like the same sort of like, it's like the same Drake songs, like every 5 songs or whatever now. And it's like, you're not hearing this other part anymore. Like, for example, going back to red velvet cake, I'm gonna make a red velvet cake now. Like
making me hungry.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the red velvet cake used to be in all the stores. Then pumpkin pie came into the, you know, was a new kid on the block. They started selling more. So since the red velvet cake wasn't selling anymore, they took it out the stores because it wasn't making them any money.
Yeah, and that's the crime against humanity right there.
Exactly. You know, so that's...
Like, imagine an award show where we did that, where it was like, hey, this is the conscious hip hop award. This is the trap hip hop award. Yeah. This is the I don't know, rock hip hop award. Yeah. Because even that's a thing now. You're mixing rock and hip hop.
I mean, they just did it with country. They just did it with country because of Beyonce.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's been going on for a while now with country and hip hop becoming this blend.
But like with Beyonce, you know, they had you know, when she got nominated for the Grammy for Act 2 or for Cowboy Carter, you know, they had I think it's called like classic country and progressive country or something like that. You know, so you can make new categories. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, and that's the going back to accessibility too. I feel like that's once upon a time. It's like realistically, as a hip hop artist, you only had like 10 years, like you had like 10 years of like 10 years of highs, right? And then like
if you go beyond that, you're a star.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, then like after that it's a rap. You know, so they always said hip hop was like a young man's game. You know, and for some reason, like if you were a hip hop artist and you were over the age of 37, it was a rap for you. You know, but now you know, since everything is accessible, like you're seeing people past 50 You know, like you're seeing people past 50 that are able to put out great music. Like, for example, RP Trugoy, you know, De La Soul put out one of the best hip hop albums of the year.
Yeah.
You know, and they're all past 50. You know what I'm saying?
Andre 3000 just dropped that flute album.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like stuff like that. Like you weren't able to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like I said, with the accessibility thing, it's just like and then I'm saying that to say, like there are like different genres that you're able to kind of like put that in, because for example, Common and Pete Rock, you know, they came out with the Auditorium, I think that was last year, and you know, they're nominated for a Grammy, but I forgot who all was nominated for a Grammy that year, last year or the year before, but it was along the lines of like he's competing against like Lil Baby and like people like that or whatever. So like you have like, and they're two totally different sounding albums. Like I said, Pumpkin Pie, Red Velvet Cake.
Yeah.
Like there can be like, I don't know what you would call it, maybe like contemporary hip hop or something like that, or like some sort of genre category thing like that. They've been talking about it. You know, I've heard like Q-Tip say like certain things about it, saying that there needs to be like some sort of category like that. But I feel like if everybody had their own category and everybody had that same amount of shine, so where like everybody wants notoriety. You know, that's all anybody wants. They just want notoriety. You know, so if everybody was able to get some sort of notoriety and being recognized for their work, then everybody will be fine.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. That's what it all boils down to.
Yeah, and judged on the merits of what they're doing, right? Like rather than being judged in this broad sense, like being compared to something that they shouldn't be being compared to, right? Because I mean, like, you wouldn't compare those things in any other world. It's just the fact that we exist in this reality where all that stuff is in the same box. Because, you know, if you were to compare, like a lyrical rapper is just going to be different than a rapper that's going off a style. That's just different. You cannot compare those two things. If you're trying to actually realistically judge them, it's just not going to work. Because they're just doing two completely different things. They might as well be in two different universes. And it's more fair to the artist if you do it that way. And like you said, everybody wants notoriety. I want to be judged based on what I am rather than like compared to this guy who's nothing like me. You know, and one thing I'll see often is like people calling lyrical hip hop like cringe just because they don't like lyrical hip hop. And that's fine. You don't have to like it, but it's not inherently bad because you don't like it. And I just think that's like it's just a bad way to look at it in general, just to look at the genres. Like I've learned in myself that it's like I have this thing where I just don't be a hater. That's like my mentality. Just don't be a hater. If I don't like something, it's probably not for me. That's literally it. It probably wasn't made for me. I probably wasn't supposed to like it in the first place, and that's okay because somebody else loves it. Somebody else is probably, that's their favorite album, that's their favorite thing ever, and it brings them joy. So who am I to then say? Now, with that being said, like there are bad things. Like there's still, like you need to be a tastemaker in a sense, and you should be able to call things out when they're bad. But also there's a lot of the time you should be able to recognize like, okay, this is just probably not made for me. And that's all right. You know, this was probably made for somebody else, and that's okay. It's like if I was to watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians and get upset about it. You know, like why am I watching this show? I should not be, I shouldn't have this on.
I can't think of the name of the song right now, just can't think. But there was a lyric that Common said. He said, "If I don't like it, I don't like it. That don't mean that I'm hating." You know, and like the album that there might be a song that I don't like that might have kept you from having something being your 13th reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? So like it could be, so why would I diminish something that changed your life? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just because it's not for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, I don't listen to Eminem at all. I don't listen to not even just talking about old school hip hop. Not even saying Eminem's old school hip hop, but let's say like I don't listen to. Let me see what's the current artist that a lot of people listen to right now. Let's say like somebody like Cordae, right? I'm not the biggest Cordae listener, right? I'm not the biggest Mike listener, right? A lot of people listen to Mike, but it's not because I don't like Mike. It's just because I don't know where to start to listen to Mike, right? Yeah. But then there could be not even talking about, like, this is probably like the worst example. I'm not even going to use that example because I don't even like Aiden Ross. Fuck him. But let's say, you know what? This is the perfect example, okay? College. I listened to Lil B a lot.
Yeah.
I was anything Lil B dropped, listen to Lil B.
Yeah.
All the time, right? My wife hates Lil B. Every time we got in the car, I'm listening to Blue Flame. I'm listening to Red Flame. I'm listening to I'm Gay. I'm listening to Evil Red Flame. Like anything that Lil B dropped, listening, right? Just because it's fun, you know? Maybe she hated Lil B, but she didn't like it, right? But it was just fun music to listen to, you know? It was fun music to listen to, and, you know, a lot of other people liked it, you know? Even like another example, like I used to listen to a lot of Drake. I'll say anything past Nothing Was the Same. I don't like Drake at all. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people like Drake.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, that gets a lot of people, you know, his music get a lot of people through certain things. My wife loves Drake. Like I said, I don't listen to him like that. You know, but if let's say I have like a big voice or something like that, I'm not about to scream from the mountaintops like I hate Drake, you know, like don't listen to his, allegations, but like don't listen to his music at all, you know, or like even with the beef, like you know, everybody's like, yo, don't listen to Kendrick. He's lyrical miracle. All his albums are boring. You know, all his albums are boring. He's always rapping about something. You know, he ain't making nothing for the girls. You know, he like stuff like that, right? But when I say like To Pimp a Butterfly is one of the greatest albums that came out in the last 20 years, you know, some people think that, you know, but it's all subjective. It's art. You know, it's all subjective, you know, and it's all up to interpretation. So, you know, if you like it, cool. If I don't like it, I'm going on to the next painting, or it's like I'm just going to the next artist. Yeah. Not everybody likes Basquiat. Not everybody likes Keith Haring. Not everybody likes Warhol, but they're still regarded as some of the best artists, you know, of our generation, or I guess they're the generation before us, whatever. But, you know, like some people like their art, some people don't, you know? So that's how I look at it.
Yeah. When like the subjectivity of art is what makes it so beautiful in the sense, in my mind, right? Mm-hmm. It's like we can all look at the same painting and draw 10 different conclusions. Like that's what's cool. And, you know, I think you take away from that when you start to make these definitive statements about art, and you don't have that open mind and that broad perspective, and you say, oh, this sucks, and this is good, and this is bad.
Yeah,
and this is good.
Your opinion is not the end all be all. My opinion is not the end all be all. That's
now,
just
like
me.
With that being said, like I think it's actually helpful to like say what you don't like about something. Like if you say, I don't like this and this is why, and da-da-da-da, that isn't necessarily harmful. Like I don't think constructive criticism is inherently bad. I don't think it's bad. Like I don't think critics are necessarily bad. I don't think reviews are necessarily bad. I just think when you are reductive, that's what's bad. When you just say like blanket statement, oh, this sucks. Like, okay, but what do you mean by that? Like that doesn't mean anything. Yeah. I mean, I could say that about anything at all. I could say, oh, that guy's an asshole. Okay. Why is he an asshole? You know, because you're not going to get anywhere making a blanket statement. You're just not.
No, it's a difference. It's a difference between critics and a peanut gallery. There's also a difference between constructive criticism and hating.
Yeah.
A lot of
because, like, what are you trying to achieve?
Exactly. Some people are just trying to achieve a reaction.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a fine line between constructive criticism and hating.
And I think we live in a world of like rage bait. And we live in a world of trying to attract response and attention. And we've been trained to say the most controversial thing. We've been trained to make a definitive statement rather than having a statement that maybe is not entirely one way or another.
Clickbait.
Yeah.
Clickbait. Because like I know, like from an artist perspective, it's just like if you're giving me constructive like you could just say you don't like it. I'm cool with that. But you can tell me why you don't like it. I'm cool with that too. But like you can tell me why you don't like it and maybe give me a suggestion on what I could do to make it better. But also as an artist, I try not to take that to heart too much.
Yeah.
Because you don't need too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah. Well, and I've learned that some people give you the exact advice that the other like somebody else will say the opposite thing that this guy said. Like, I love it for this. And the other guy says, I hate it for this. And they're both talking about the same exact element of the thing. So you just kind of learn that, like, everybody's going to look at it differently and nobody's necessarily right or wrong. Like, it's just that everybody has an opinion.
Yeah. It's like, I don't think, like, I think the Mona Lisa should smile. No, I think Mona Lisa is, like, perfectly fine, like, not smiling.
Yeah.
Like, like, hearing that argument is being like, yo, painting's done,
right, just move on.
We'll go to the next one.
We'll paint another Mona Lisa.
We'll paint another Mona Lisa. So, but just seeing off of that. But it's like it's always. I'm not gonna say always, but it is good to hear those opinions because you could hear those opinions and you could take those into account for the next
one.
Because like you're not. This beat or like this song or whatever you're working on, it's not it's not your life's work. So like it's always something else that you're like working on. Like I said, that goes back into what we said at the very beginning. Talking about like, improving and technique change and, taste level. It all changes because everything with what I do, it all of my surroundings, like everything, I take it all in, and that's like what really changes everything that I do.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think like I like to hear what people have to say. Yeah. I really do. Like if they don't like it, I like to hear it. If they do like it, I like to hear it.
And if I don't hear anything, that's a problem.
That's the problem. Yeah. Silence is the problem.
That's what I don't want to hear. Like if I'm at a show, and like I'm playing a beat and like I don't see a head nod. If I don't see a head nod or like if I don't see like a reaction of I can see like maybe one or two and I'm cool, but like if I don't see anything, I'm going on to the next one. I'm on to the next beat or something like that. I'm like, okay, maybe this didn't hit. So like, and like as artists, as like people who do like, the stuff that I do or whatever, it's what is the word? We are you could say like we're kind of like public service sort of things or whatever, because like we're for the people. Like we can do this stuff for ourselves personally. Like we can do this stuff for ourselves, but if we're putting it out into the public space, that's whenever it changes. Like we're giving a piece of ourselves for the people. So I mean, if you like it, cool. If you don't, cool. But like if you're putting it out for that purpose, like
it's not yours anymore.
Yeah, it's not yours anymore. So if you want that, if you're searching for that if you're searching for that opinion or reaction or whatever, it's like, we need that. We need that. And sometimes in real time it works.
Yeah. And it's not like a validation thing. It's not like you need somebody to validate you. It's just, I think it's more about like, it's like that, back to the tree falling in the woods, you know, like you want people to see the tree fall, because that makes it real. Otherwise it almost feels like not even purposeful anymore. Like what do we do it all for?
Did you see me grow?
Yeah.
Or like, have I just been here the whole time?
Yeah. So, and for me, like, nothing is more valuable than that. Like, nothing makes me feel more purposeful than response. Yeah. Truly. Like, sure. I feel like creating a difference in other people's lives is the point. Yeah. No, that's the point. For sure. Otherwise, what the fuck are we doing?
Nah, for 100%. 100%.
I would hate to make music in a vacuum. Yeah. I would never want to do that, you know? Like, that's why I love performing more than anything. Like, putting my stuff in front of people more than anything. Yeah. Because to me, like, if you walk up to me after a show and you say, bro, that made me feel this type of way, da-da-da-da, you have just validated my entire existence. Like, that made everything worth it right there, because that's all I need to hear. All I need to hear is that I made a difference for you. Yeah. And it could even be, oh, I didn't like it. Like, that could be, well, you had a thought and I made you have that thought. Yeah. It made a difference. That's what matters. Because otherwise, it's like, it just feels like you're chipping away at something that never actually shapes into a statue. You're just chipping away at marble and then it just turns into nothing. You want it to make a shape. Yeah. And it feels, I don't know. I feel like the more and more I make a difference, the more and more my life takes shape. The more and more it feels like I'm making something. Yeah. Yeah.
No, for sure. For sure. Now I feel that 100%, because like, our lives aren't shaped off of only stuff that we like. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, so just like you said, how like somebody could come up to a show and say they don't like it, like you made them think, but like you're still shaping them. 'Cause like I said, let's say for example, I was talking to my wife about this last week. I don't like cream of wheat, right? I hate cream of wheat. But like that shaped my taste level of like some of the food that I like. So like I said, like if your life would be very, very different if it was just based off of the stuff that you like. Yes, it's heavily based off the stuff that you like, but like the stuff that you dislike still shapes like all the stuff that how we live. Yeah. So it, like I said, it's an iron sharpens iron sort of thing, like with all walks, like how all walks of life are, and that's really how I like to look at, everything, like nothing is ever a wasted opportunity,
So. Yeah, no such thing as wasted time.
Yeah, at all.
Josh Weitzel from Kino Crew Productions. I was talking with him on here, and I'd seen him say it before, but his piece of advice was that, like, watch bad movies. You should watch bad movies for basically that reason, right? Like, you shouldn't only consume the things you like. You should watch a bad movie every now and then.
Yeah. So basically make a Tubi account. Okay.
Right. I love that. Is hilarious, dude.
I love it.
Tubi's free, by the way, folks.
Yeah. That's funny.
Well, yeah, man. It's been a great conversation. Yeah, fire. It was a pleasure having you on here. We'll have you back sometime, of course.
Love it.
And I'd love to work with you in any capacity. You are a dope person.
Likewise. Yes. Thank you. Nah, like seriously, let me know. I'm down for whatever.
All right, man.
Yeah, it goes back to what we were saying earlier. It's like, hey, we're about to go hoop. We're gonna play ball. So whatever.
The Venn diagram has been formed.
For sure. It's just one big circle now, so we're good.
That's right. Well, at the end of the show, we always do two things. All right. So one, the show is obviously for children, for 3 to 5 year olds. So you're going to give advice to the children. They are on the school bus. They've got their headphones in, and they're about to get off and enter the world. And so you're going to give them a nugget of knowledge, a piece of advice for them to take with them and use. They are going to use your brain in their brain, and their life will get better. Second, the social medias, where people can find you, the places where they can see your faces, where they can type it in to find you. The floor is yours.
Got you. How many pieces of two? You said 2 pieces of advice?
Just one, but
just one.
You can do 2.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna do 2. Let's see. Let me think.
I'm gonna be so funny if it was food related.
Nah, I mean, hey, eat red velvet cake. Let's see. What can I give? What advice? Because like you said, 3 to 5. So like I'm thinking of my kid, right? Like 3 is a terrible age. Terrible 3s. Let me see. What is some advice I can give to a 3-year-old? I was really trying to be real introspective, but I can't. Don't forget your jacket when you leave for school. Yeah, don't forget your jacket when you leave for school.
It's a cold world.
It's a cold world out here. I like that. See, yeah, that's the advice I can give. Yeah, because there's a lot of jackets in the lost and found for sure. Yeah. And it's a cold world out there. Yeah, and then the socials. You can find me everywhere. Not everywhere. Instagram, X now it's called. _Beatz with a Z. If that's too long, you can hashtag Backpack Season. You will find me. I'm on YouTube. Just got partnered like a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
So yeah, we're there. I try to drop every week. Just search Backpack Beatz with a Z. Patreon coming real soon. Hopefully like in the next week or 2. I'm trying to get that set up. If you like the merch, make sure you go to nomorefreebeatz.com. Yeah, and just search Bandcamp, Backpack Beatz. Got a lot of music on there. Twitch, I'm back on Twitch, live streaming on Twitch, Backpack Beatz. Just search Backpack Beatz with a Z. You'll see me everywhere. 2026 dropping a lot of music. 2025 was a great year. 2026 is going to be even better. So yeah, just Google Backpack Beatz. You'll see me everywhere. Yeah. Appreciate you for having me, man. This is super fire.
Yeah, man. It was a pleasure. The pleasure is mine.
For sure.
Yes. All right. And with that all being said, folks, Ruse Radio. Clocking out.
Double down, competition couldn't help him to rock. Missed the whole time, holy fell through the flock. That's an ordinary miracle, wealth to the block. It's a balance in the character that's calm and